Hey, you guys. Hi. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to add LFT in 1 second. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Let me add LFT really quick. Hi, friend. LFT is muted, so she's still talking. I don't know where she is. K-Braze, how are you? Kita's Crime. Thank you guys for being here. Mal.
Oh, I was trying to type in the chat and then I couldn't hit. Oh, I copied and pasted it. What's up? Hey, y'all.
Shabane, thank you for sharing Pointer. Thistle, we'll be. We just lost our guest. Dadgummit. Oh, okay, thanks. Hi, Risk. Oh, there he is. Okay. I'm going to say a quick hello to everybody, and then we're going to bring our guest up here, and we're going to handle things a little bit differently tonight than we normally do. I'm kind of normally we have a pretty structured podcast, if you will. But our guest, and I'm going to kind of give you a little background on this really quick before he comes up here. He's going to kind of take the reins tonight. We're going to let him talk about what he's comfortable talking about. We're going to be discussing the Rachel Morin case out of Bel Air, Maryland. Rachel was found, she went missing on August 5th and she was found on August 6th. Brutal homicide. And our guest is part of the family that found her. And he has a lot of background in tracking, searching, and finding people. He has done numerous interviews with the press and been unfairly portrayed, extraordinarily unfairly portrayed. There's been vicious lies about him. He's been accused of things. None of them are true. I had the opportunity of meeting our guest. His name is Mike, but on here we're going to call him Johnny Blackhawk. He's Native American. We're going to respect what his YouTube name is. And I had the honor and pleasure of meeting Johnny Blackhawk last week for about 20, 25 minutes. I couldn't stay very long, but we had the most incredible, I'm not kidding. When I tell you, I get goosebumps talking about this guy. We had an incredible connection. He was awesome. There was no hesitation. We sat down and it was awesome. His vibe is amazing. He's super chill. And what his family has been through is awful. And we're going to try and help in a couple of different ways. And I need to talk to you guys about that after our interview. One of the things that we're doing to help his family is we want to get the proper counseling. And I have somebody working on that right now. And in doing so, we're gonna talk about that a little bit more. But we don't want an average counselor for someone like this. We need a trauma counselor. There's been a lot happening. So I'm going to ask you that if you make a donation tonight, we're going to go ahead and forward those donations to Johnny for his family so that they can get the proper therapy that they need for this circumstance. Um, and I apologize for not looking at chat right now. Please forgive me. I will say hi again in 1 second. We're going to be focusing tonight on Johnny Blackhawk. Also going to be focusing on Rachel, and things that we're learning, things we desire, things we want to happen, a future. We're not, according to Johnny, and like I said, we're letting him kind of lead the way here on this interview. He wants to talk about a lot of future things and not so much past, which I can appreciate that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Johnny Blackhawk up here, and we're going to. Hey, how are
everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
Everybody says hello. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you.
Not a problem. How's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody doing? Everybody's safe and
everybody is, yes.
And
so Johnny's been in Criminality's chat, Teresa's chat, and I happened to catch him in here, and I said, "Hey, I'm a local, and I would love to talk to you." And he said, "Okay, let's talk." And we did. We sat down and we had a great conversation, and it was really a pleasure meeting him. And I can't wait to hang out with you again. I can't wait to wander the woods.
my heart right there is the forest.
Yeah. So first of all, let me ask you the first question, which is the obvious and not the greatest question, but how are you faring through all this? How has this affected you and your family?
It's affected the community more than it's affected me. That's what bothers me the most. Okay. My community being in fear. My community being scared to walk out their door every day because we have somebody so violent and brutal on the street. Nobody knows who he is. We only have DNA. You know, we don't know if he's still in the area.
Right.
We really have nothing. As of this point, we have nothing. And we're not getting any new information. There's no other news outlets that are covering the story. It's like it just kind of died. Like the light went out, like everybody's on to other things instead of focused on what's really going on here.
Right.
You know, I mean, the amount of outpouring for Rachel's family and her children is very heartwarming. And I pray every day for Rachel and her children, you know, because I believe that, you know, one day we will find out who did this.
I'm with you.
He will come to justice and he will pay his dues, you know. As far as the trail, they need more security cameras. They need more cameras. They need more patrols, you know, more than we have now, because that is a long trail.
It is.
You know, it's long. There's dark pockets in it. Plenty of places to hide. A lot of places
to get off and get back on again.
Right, exactly. There's all these little offshoots of trails. Some of the homeless encampments in the area. You know, how do we know this guy could not be back there blending in the homeless encampments back there?
Nothing's out of the question. Nothing is out of the question.
At this point, everything's up in the air still. You know, everything, we still have no answers, and you know, we have no facial sketch. All we have is DNA at this point. You know, we have a side profile of somebody that's loose in our town, and we can't even identify him.
Yeah.
You know, which scares me. You know, I was thinking maybe, you know, doing more community patrols.
Okay.
Get more people out there to do, you know, like walk the trail at certain times just to keep an eye on things. You know, I was thinking maybe a visitor's log at the end of the trail.
That's a great idea.
where you could
It would,
sign in so we know who comes and goes on that trail.
Okay.
it's ki-
Um,
it's kind of like an old school like community neighborhood watch. Like just get people,
Yeah.
you know what I
exactly. We're all one family. We all need to come together and keep our communities safe.
mean.
Hmm.
I don't think we all disagree on that one. We might disagree on other issues going on in the United States, but that is one thing that we cannot argue, that we're all human beings, we're all one community, and we need to keep our community safe from vagrants, vagabonds, and people trying to harm our families.
I
You
agree.
know, I honestly believe that if people would spend more time loving each other instead of tearing each other down, we would get somewhere in this country.
I agree.
Hmm.
I mean, we were all born from the same womb.
Hmm.
There's no different races in this on this planet. We're all human beings. You know,
I
I just
agree.
don't understand it. I don't understand it. Um, I was also thinking maybe about an online or on trail community meeting, like about
Yeah.
updates on the case or any ideas where to look for this guy. Anybody that's seen him, anybody that thinks they've seen him. You know what I mean? We could all get together on the trail and share our ideas.
I love that. That's a great idea. Keep talking.
Get the community more involved with what we're trying to accomplish. Because I think the community is scared, and if we come out in numbers, we'll have more safety in numbers.
I
You
agree.
know what I mean? Women, when they walk these trails, the buddy system's okay, but if you take a group of you guys down there, you'll
Hmm.
be more effective. You
Hmm.
know, you're being more effective in luring off attackers like that. And by showing so many people on that trail, somebody's not going to even think about doing that in that town again. If the community comes together and helps bring this guy to justice,
Hmm.
this guy needs to be brought to justice. Our community is in fear as of right now.
It sure is. It sure is.
You know. Um. Also, I was also thinking maybe what was it? More beat patrols for the Harford County Sheriff. I mean, if their manpower allows it,
Hmm.
instead of riding the ATV, it takes a long time to ride that trail on an ATV to get back to a certain point on that trail.
Well, you and I noticed that and I won't say what it is, but there's a time span, and it's very regular. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't want to give
yeah,
too much away, you know,
right,
but
right.
it's a very regular. And if you get in between that time frame,
Yeah.
you can still do.
I mean, it could. I mean, he's still on the loose, and the sheriff says he will strike again.
Yeah,
They just don't know
Which puts
where.
the community right, which puts the community in more fear.
it
So
does.
nobody's gonna come out on this trail because they still think this guy's on the loose out on the trail.
That's the way I
And
feel. I mean, I met you and I told you I was there the day or two before. I took video. I'll show you guys that video later tonight if you want a good laugh. But you can see where I go down and I'm like, "Oh, this is fine." And then I'm like, "This is terrifying." It was
Nope.
awful
You're like, nope,
in there.
nope, nope.
It was
Hmm.
it's
awful.
very thick when you get to the bottom of there now.
Yes, it
It
is.
is it's almost like static electricity trying to push you away.
It's awful.
It
Have
is.
y'all
It
have
is.
y'all heard anything locally in terms because since y'all are both in the area in terms of local coverage or news or for lack of a better word, even the rumor mill on the current status of things, or
Well, the
is it still
sheriff was
being
on News Nation today, and again, he said nothing.
okay?
They don't have anything. They don't know
In fact,
anything.
they're asking the community to pour in tips.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
I saw
exactly what they did in News Nation.
Hmm.
they raised the reward amount, or I guess we did the other day. That
Right.
The reward amount is now $10,000 for anyone who can provide a conviction for Rachel's killer. Um,
but no no community efforts, no new
No,
kind of, okay.
No,
no,
not as of right now. Nobody's coming out of their house. Nobody's really speaking to anybody else.
nope.
They're just kind of going about their everyday business because everybody's scared.
Now, Johnny's been to the trail almost every day, and every day we've pretty much talked. Now, today he didn't go. The weather wasn't super great. It's super hot. And sometimes you need to take a breath and kind of, huh,
Get your thoughts together of what you're going to plan and attack the next day.
that's right. That's right. So my guess is Johnny will be going back out tomorrow, and there's a very good chance that I'll meet him there. So we can kind of,
Definitely going back tomorrow. There's some spots that I want to check out.
yeah. He actually, and this is one of the things I wanted to, and I don't want to give away your spots because I think they're brilliant, and I think that you have a really good eye on kind of a feel for not only the community but what's going, like how it may have happened,
Right.
an escape plan, if you will.
Yep.
So, and I freaking love it. So we're gonna talk about that privately because I want to map out some things there with you. I want to
Right.
understand some things because I'm not familiar, but you are. So I
Right.
hope to learn some things from you there.
I walked that the other day, and that was eerie. That was really eerie.
Yeah.
I went through there the other day. It was just there. I feel like, I don't know why. I feel like this guy's being entertained by having everybody look for him. If that makes any sense.
It does. And one of the things that the sheriff said and that you and I talked about is how horrible this was. So, in tap dancing around that, he is, he's obviously a sadist. Obviously.
Oh,
Hey, Mel.
definitely. Definitely. I think he's more than a sadist.
Yeah.
He makes them look like angels.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's awful. It's awful, you guys. And thank you, Mallory, for joining memberships. I really appreciate that. And oh yes, before I forget, happy birthday to LFT. Her birthday's tomorrow. Of course, we're gonna throw a little party and we're gonna do our thing. But happy early birthday to my true crime partner, my partner in true crime, my bestie, and all the things. So happy early birthday to you.
There was another thing I wanted to say. How about free defense classes for women in the community?
I love
That's a great one. I like
all
that.
the things. And I would love that. I would love information, which a friend of ours did send, and I'm going to post that in the chat tonight too. Delana, if you have that link that you sent me, will you drop that in our chat? It's a self-defense, like items you can buy for self-defense. Drop that in our chat, Delana, if you possibly can.
I'll tell you what, if you ordered bear spray online, that would keep them away.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how far does that spray?
About 40 feet.
Holy shnikes. Okay.
And it's like a water gun. It's like a super soaker.
Okay.
It's not like one of them little itty bitty cans. This thing looks like a fire extinguisher.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so everybody, bear spray. I love that idea. Anything to keep us safe.
Well, if it scares a bear away, it'll scare a 6-foot person away, guarantee you. Or it'll disable him long enough to where you can call the police and have him arrested.
Which is stun gun. That's another one.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna run with the
illegal in Maryland?
What's that?
They might be illegal in Maryland. I'm not sure.
Actually, I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll look it up while we're talking here.
Yeah, I don't want nobody to get in trouble.
No, me neither. But girls got to do what girls got to do. So
I tell you what.
Here you go. Here's Delana's. Delana was able to drop this for me personally, and I want everyone to be able to go there and get what they want. Very reasonably priced stuff. But I think what's really important is what Johnny has said here, and that is potentially looking into classes. I'm going to look into that in the Bel Air area, and maybe we can bring awareness to that. Or if not, we're going to find out who can teach those classes.
How about trying to get it sponsored by the county?
Yeah.
Might be able to get it sponsored by the county too.
That would be, listen, that would be amazing. That would be really amazing.
That's your next local town hall meeting, or even posting things if there's a way to meet somewhere, you know, the first neighborhood watch. You bring all that up.
Right. You know, like a community meeting at the trailhead. There's plenty of benches of people.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to sit down, we could always stand up and talk. It don't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And this is to save people. Like people need to understand how horrific this was. This woman was 5'2" and 107 pounds. She was a tiny little thing. Now, the guy that they're describing is 5'9" and 160 pounds. Not a humongous guy by any stretch. Not a humongous guy. But he, according to his build on the Ring video, he's built enough to do some terrible harm to individuals. We never want to have this happen again. Not in anyone's area, not in our area, not in anyone's area. So whatever we can do, like I said, we want to back you in what you're doing. You were interviewed by a number of different local news stations, and they've gotten the story wrong with you in so many different ways. Is there anything that we can straighten out for you? Is there anything you want to say to straighten out? Or are you just kind of like,
no, I'm just going to let it go and let bygones be bygones, man. I mean, they're only words to me.
Okay.
You know, the main thing is, you know, this guy that's in town right now. I'm not worried about me. I told you before, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my daughter and her friend.
I know.
You know, I'm not worried about what people say on social media, because social media can be a very vicious place. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, I mean, words are words. You can say everything you want about me. Just don't bring it to my face and try to harm me or my family. Period.
I 100% agree with you.
Right?
100% agree with you.
I'm not going to let anybody discourage me from my mission, from having to try to go out and do my part in my community so we can bring this guy to justice in a safe manner.
So one of the things that Johnny Blackhawk is very passionate about is his community, our community.
Yes.
We're local, Johnny and I, and it's our community. And he's been extraordinarily vocal, passionate. He's been going out to the trail, I told you guys, daily to not only search, but I think heal would be another thing that you're trying to do. Heal the land, heal the area, search for anything helpful, I guess.
Right. Anything that's out of the ordinary, that's what I'm searching for. Okay. Everything that's not supposed to be there. I got a whole notebook of notes right here that I've been keeping. You know what I mean? I'm going on different news channels every day to find out what's going on with the case, see if they got any leads, see if the guy's still in the area. You know, I mean, I've lived here for 37 years, right outside of Bel Air. I mean, Bel Air was like my little playground when I was a kid. We used to go there and skateboard all night long.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, it was a safe neighborhood. You could be out all night as children.
Have y'all noticed a difference in the amount of people who will go, you know, walk or run? I mean,
the trail's like a ghost town now.
Did I not say that before? No prompting. Did I not say that before?
It's like a ghost town. I mean, you used to get 300-400 people a day that would walk this trail. Now you barely get maybe 30 or 40 people a day walking this trail because everybody's so in fear of what's going to happen next. You know, because a lot of people believe that this guy is still in town.
Do you think he's still in town?
I do, because I mean the police got him spooked right now. They got his DNA and they put his face on TV.
National news. This guy's national news.
Yes. all
So
the
you,
way from Maryland, all the way to LA County, California.
yeah.
I
You know,
I'm torn whether or not I think he's still there. I feel like now, if he's there, when I say I'm surprised no one's turned him in at this point. If he's there, I just can't.
well, I mean, he could be blending in with these homeless encampments and getting paid under the table working construction.
Hmm.
True,
You know what I mean?
true.
He could be sneaking right through the eyes. I mean, if he's right around that trail, there's so many places, like I said, to hide right around that trail.
They really are.
And if you think about this, not to speculate or anything, but those flower pots that got stolen,
Mhm.
that was like, to me, that was a kick in the face to the family. That was him taking them as trophies to further do more damage and pain to the family, which is awful in my eyes. And whoever
For
stole
the
those flower pots need to return them.
for
If it
those that
was,
don't know, last week they did a walk for Rachel and her family, or I should say her family hosted a walk for the general public
yeah,
to just honor her and come together as a community. And her mom, her family, but her mom was the one that placed it, um, bought beautiful flowers for the head of the trail. Gorgeous. Someone dumped the flowers in the woods between Monday at 3 and Tuesday night. I was there at 3 on Monday and I have pictures of them, so I know that they were there. After that, they disappeared. No, I didn't do it. But someone took the flowers and dumped them in the woods and took the flower pots.
and
Why?
I don't understand that one. I really don't. I mean,
Why?
that is awful. That is
That was just
awful.
a dick move.
It was. It was. I mean, and honestly, that to me is, I don't know. I took it as some kind of sign that he's still in the area.
Really? That was your okay. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to share something that you shared with me, and I thought it was beautiful. And it's one of the things that really drew me like closer and really just warmed my heart. And that was when you were out after we spoke on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday?
Yes,
Tuesday?
sir. Tuesday. Yeah.
After we spoke, you went and you walked around and you did your thing. And you were texting me during the walk, and we were asking each other questions and things like that. And one of the things you sent me was the most beautiful picture. Do you want to tell everybody what you found?
I found an eagle feather on the trail. When I was walking the trail, it was about 100 feet, maybe about right on the trail, right outside where the tunnels are, where Rachel was found. And I took that as a symbol of Rachel or my ancestors telling me, you know, thank you for following up and doing your part in the community. You
Mm-hmm.
know, kind of like the gift of thank you
I
for
told him
help.
he's being led. That's what I said. I said, you're being led. Continue what you're doing. And it's a beautiful, like, what you need to understand about Johnny Blackhawk is his spirituality is oozing from every pore.
Yep.
His heritage is he wears it proudly on his body and his clothing. What any way he can show it, he speaks it, he walks the walk, he talks the talk. And I'm going to
Yep.
let you talk a little bit about your history so that people understand that too, because that's a real gift that we have with you being here, is that spirituality, that level of feeling, the sensitivity you have with the land, those kind of things. Will
Yeah,
you talk about that?
sure can. My connection with the land. I don't listen to people when I'm looking for guidance. I will look to the skies. I will look to the water. I will sit there and I will talk to Creator. I smudge the land to heal the land. I walk around the land in bare feet to ground. I, I do pipe ceremonies in the morning to, bless all the people and pray for all the people's safe passage and respect for everybody that I come in contact with. You know,
Love
um, I'm a native traditional dancer as well, so I go to powwows. And when we dance, it's like a form of healing the nations, healing our people,
Mm-hmm.
dancing for the people that aren't with us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
MMIW, we're honoring these women that were missing, murdered Indigenous women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big advocate for that, and that's where my compassion comes from in this case. You know, I believe all women are sacred. If it weren't for women, men wouldn't be born. That's what men need to understand. Women are to be respected because they are our creators. You know, and
Hmm.
the earth, the earth is part of that. The earth is our second mother
Mm-hmm.
because our mother birthed us, but our second mother gives us everything we need to be able to sustain our life in a comfortable, happy environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you walk your journey through life, it's up to you whether you walk it in a good way or you walk it in a bad way. You know, you could make it hard or you could make it easy on yourself. You know, you could stay positive and make it easy for yourself, or you could make speed bumps and have a negative path.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
I
I
agree.
mean, basically, I mean, I follow my natural symbols. I follow the land. I follow the animals. You know, I listen to them. They listen to me. Sometimes we get into arguments, but you know, that's how it goes. Like the
I
other
get it.
day, you see me down the trail. I had a thing of smudge in my coveralls. You remember?
I
I,
remember. And what did
I
I say?
was,
I was like, I love that. I love that.
I'm going down there to heal the area and try to get some of that thick air, that
Mm-hmm.
negativity that's sitting down there to
Yeah,
disperse. You know what I mean?
I
Try,
do.
trying to make the environment back to the way it was, but I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was until this guy is caught.
That's what I think too. I think there's a level that until he's until the monster's in the cage again,
Right.
I don't think that there's going to be peace.
No.
And
But
I pray with everything that they can get him soon and get just oh for her
they haven't.
family.
Go
What?
ahead, LFD.
Oh, sorry. I was about to say there haven't been any other new reports. I mean, between an hour's drive of y'all of this
No.
happening. Okay, I didn't
Nope.
think so that we had seen, but I just wanted to double check. Okay.
There was one that I was kind of hitting on the other day, but I think Tia checked that out for me.
I
That
did.
guy Daniel Esparza, the MO fit, he pretty much abducted this girl from a park, shot at her boyfriend, abducted her, S8'd her, and basically killed her and dumped her body in a field in Moreno County, California. And that was just Sunday. The guy was 20 years old, 160 pounds, 5'11". Everything fit.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
brutality, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I I
I
told
just
Tia I saw something the other day, and this is from a couple years ago in Georgia, and it was an older gentleman, actually, I believe in his 60s, but right outside, I mean, close to, outside of, I can't remember, sorry, it's not Atlanta, but maybe Athens or something, but it was like the mountain area of Georgia, and the guy was apprehended who committed these heinous trials act or killings. Actually, did two in North Carolina, one in Georgia, and one in Florida. But he was describing because he did it on the trails. And it was
Yeah.
just so ironic that I'd come across that. I just listened to it randomly, but he talked about how he would watch them. Do you know what I'm like? He
Yes.
says there's pros and cons of being on the trail. You do the trails because it's kind of easy access for lack of a better word. But at the same time, there's more. You run the risk of more public, like there are more people around it. It's more populated, potentially on a popular trail, but like running the risk of being seen. But he talked it out in terms of hunting, like knowing what he was going to do, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like you would approach them first sometimes, even before. and then walk off. But what he would do would go hide, like he knew the wooded area right beyond the trail, and so he
Mm.
would kind of lurk and then get them on their way back. And he knew like an exit route ASAP. And this guy was in
Well,
his
that was one of the things
60s.
that Johnny and I talked about was there's kind of an elevated area that we both went, did you? And I looked at him, I said, did you go there? Do you know what I'm talking about? He was like, oh yeah, I went there. I stood on there's a big log. I stood on the big log and I was like, yes, I know exactly where you're talking. We kind of had that. And we both sort of had a conversation about, well, that would be an interesting area to observe.
That's why I was asking y'all, because I was wondering my thoughts, because I know Tia, you've walked it. And
Well, also, if you stand in front of the tunnels, you can see the trail right there where it bends around. You can stand right in front of those tunnels and look and see that trail through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
But you can come down.
But you can't see, and this is one of the ironic things, you can't see the forest through the trees. You can't see when you're at the trail. You can't see up there, which is ironic.
Right. Yep.
It's a great spot for you to view others looking down, but if you're on the trail, you can't see up there. The trees block that area.
Is that like when you were showing me, I know not on before you got to the bridge, on that kind of lookout little area built outward?
Yep.
Where you, so I was like, okay, all right.
When I went up the trail and the police were there and I was like, can I go up here? And they were like, yeah, we don't care. Go wherever you want. Okay. I was like, great. Thanks. That's encouraging. Yeah. That was the spot right there. I will tell you, there's been a lot of police on the trail, same police officers. I think it's about the same 3 or 4. They do ride the gators. It just still, no matter what, though, it doesn't feel the same that it did. My daughter ran track for 5 minutes and she would go there and run. I would go there and walk, and I don't enjoy it the way I did. And I'll never go again without thinking of Rachel. Never, ever, ever.
Well, her spirit still roams in those woods. Her spirit will forever roam in those woods. She'll always be down there.
Sorry. I just want peace for her family. That's what I want. I want peace for her family.
I want to bring this thing to a close and put it to rest so her family can grieve in the proper ways. That's what they need to do. I mean, I feel super bad every day. I wake up in the morning, wondering, is this guy going to be caught today? Am I going to go down the trail and run into him? I mean, there's just so many things that are going through my head when I wake up in the morning.
You're super invested. You are super. I mean, you've written it down. You've told me. You just.
I'm going through all the little offshoots on the trail.
You're very invested.
The parts that the parts that aren't even traveled.
Yeah.
Going back toward the bypass and the landfill and all that. There's so many trails up through there.
There really are.
To where you could travel around and not be detected by anybody. Mm-hmm. Think about this. He could be walking around. He could be working during the day for a construction company, getting paid cash every day. Mm-hmm. And then at night is when he comes gets his supplies, because the people on the graveyard shift aren't really looking at faces. They're just trying to make a sale and go back to doing their work.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think he's still down on that dark trail, because he can hide really well down there.
How many acres is it? Do you know by any chance?
I don't know, but I know that trail is 4 miles long.
Yeah. I didn't know if you knew how many acres were in the area. I'll have to look that up, because I don't know, but it's a lot. If you look at it on Google Earth, there's big swaths of forest right in between the bypass, all the way over by Route 1, behind Best Buy. There's woods everywhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And to me, that would be, if somebody was looking for you, that'd be the perfect place to hide. Who's going to come back in the forest and look for you? Well, right. Right.
Who's really going to come back there and look for you? They're going to be looking for you on surveillance cameras on the streets and everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You
And if
know?
they just had surveillance somewhere in that trail,
Oh, right.
somewhere, we could have.
I mean, the homeless people during the night, when people don't go down there, that's where they go down there and they drink and they gather. And, you
Mhm.
know, I mean, I see beer cans and liquor bottles on that trail all the time.
You informed me of that, and I was like, "Where the hell are they?" I've never seen. And then you kind of told me the area, and I was like, "Well, that's it." Correction, it makes sense. I appreciate you educating me on that because I did not know that.
There's a lot of ins and outs of that trail. I mean, it's very intricate through there.
It is. It really is. And the other thing is there's animals in there. There's all kinds of things. Um, the weather has been actually pretty cooperative as far
Yeah.
as looking. So that's
Right.
been nice. Have you run into anybody else searching besides just you?
No. No. I mean, I go out by myself and leave by myself. So, I mean, I haven't seen anybody in the forest or bumped into anybody on those little offshoots in the trails or anything,
No.
you know. And even when I go into those trails and I come out, I'm still undetected. Nobody sees me going in or out,
Yeah.
which is scary.
That's
I
very
mean, I know it's just me, but still, there should be somebody there watching or at least have cameras on these little offshoots of these trails,
mm-hmm.
you know?
I agree. I agree with you. Um, LFT, do you have anything you want to ask?
Sorry, I put it in the chat. Just was curious on y'all's thoughts if whether or not you think it's someone who has local ties to the area, because given his vigilant, like just seems like urgency and flexibility to navigate the area. He did it. He either had to like study it before doing this. I mean, as in,
Um, I
I feel like
believe
you'd
he's
have to know the area, kind of deal.
not really. Not really. I mean, these trails speak for themselves back there. They might be little offshoots, but they're wide enough to where you could understand where you're navigating through there because you have the bypass right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? North and south is the bypass.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But you would think
So,
I don't imagine people. I mean, I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm thinking of someone. I think Bel Air is a town similar to where I am. You would go
I
like 40
think,
minutes outside of here, and it's a bigger area where you think people would more or less visit, navigate, tour, whatever you want to. But I'm in a smaller area where it's like it's kind of just like y'all say, the locals, the community, the area, the trails, you know what I mean? Like
right. But
most y'all are
he
right
could have
outside of.
been, he could have been here for a while traveling with a construction company. He could have been here for a while. He might found his way around them trails
Mm-hmm.
So
and
kind of
been
studied it, like kind of
right,
learned it.
exactly. Right.
Where she was found, and I want to make sure that we know this, is not far off the trail. So that's
No, not at all. It's like 20 feet off the trail.
you see. And when I did video from there, you could see, like, I stood at the general area. I was very general, not specific.
Right.
I showed the camera where you could see, and it wasn't far. So I don't know how. Well, I do. We're not gonna talk about that, but she was subdued very quickly in order to comply with her attacker.
Well, I mean, even if she did struggle or scream, if they were in that tunnel, imagine the road noise that was going over top of them.
It does
You
echo in
wouldn't be able
there,
to hear
so
it.
I would have thought that it probably would have made more noise, but I can see where you're coming from as far as the
Cars going over the tunnels.
yeah, it
Because
was
it
actually
reverberates into the woods. It doesn't really reverberate in the tunnel. So it kind of blocks the noise from the tunnel.
it was
Off.
louder than I expected. I have to admit.
So
Yeah.
he could just the person could just keep on running straight through the tunnel once done. It's not like you're popping necessarily back up on the trail. Not
No,
trying
you
to
can
ask
run
investigation
clear
wise,
across the
just
road
understanding.
and be in
No,
more tunnels and in more woods in about 7 seconds.
you could go clear across the Route 1 in about 2 to 5 minutes. You'd be over there, and nobody would be the
So he
wiser.
would never have, and he would have never had to come up like back up onto the trail or anything like that. He
Oh,
could
that's
just,
why
you know,
nobody
Never.
saw him come out of that trail. That's why he
okay.
wasn't detected coming back up out of that trail.
Johnny's theory is that tunnels were used, and that's one of the things that I would like to be educated on in that area. And I think it's pretty,
Next time we hang out, I'll show you the Google Earth
yeah,
where you can follow the creek and it goes right underneath one part of the bypass, the second part of the bypass, and goes clear over to Route 1.
yeah. I know
Wait,
exactly.
oh,
Go ahead, LFT.
no, y'all keep talking. I have a question and I was just like, I don't even know if I should ask it, but I keep talking and I'll think about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm trying to avoid so many subjects, and yet I want to ask you at the same time.
That's
Things
what
we
I'm
discuss.
doing.
Well, things we discuss in private. I know everyone has all kinds of questions for you. I know that they do. Out of respect, I'm going to kind of run a little bit of interference because we don't want this is an open investigation for our particular area.
Right.
I don't want any trouble for our friend, number one. And number two, I don't need him reliving anything or saying anything that's going to make him more uncomfortable in a situation that he's literally living through something with this family. So I want to be as respectful as we can and not discuss so much what you saw and what was there and all the ins and outs, but how we can improve from here forward. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It makes perfect sense.
It totally
Um,
does,
I
but
think
I
they
still
need
have
cameras.
I still
I
have a
think they need
question.
cameras in that tunnel system, too. Like right outside that tunnel system on the other side of it, on the beginning of the other one, all the way through to Route 1. We need
Mhm.
more cameras back there because there's so much open. Or, I mean, for them to even fly drones over wouldn't be effective because you can't see through the canopy.
Right?
So I'm thinking maybe trail cameras put on, certain parts of the trail on the little offshoots. You know what I mean? Like little trail cameras that nobody could detect, you know,
That would be
just to
awesome.
keep an eye on everything and have everything linked into the sheriff's office on one big monitor.
Wouldn't that be
And
nice? That would be so nice. What about like also doing like a call box or something, where they have, remember the old fashioned call boxes that they used to
we have
have where
those
you could,
in Glacier. We have those in Glacier where
oh,
you go up to the box and you get the phone and it goes right to the park ranger station.
okay.
And it actually, you give them, there's actual numbers on the box, and it gives the longitude and latitude of where you're at. It gives you a pinpoint of exactly where you're at.
Do you want to tell people, please, what you have done in the past? Give a little history of what you've done so that people understand.
Okay. I lived on my Indian reservation in Browning, Montana for about 12 years. And out there's nothing out there. It's nothing like here. I mean, you drive maybe an hour to the hospital, maybe an hour and a half to the nearest grocery store. You know, but what I did in Glacier was when people would go missing or couldn't find their way back, me and a group of guys would go out there and we'd do searches.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of us were hunting guys. We know how to track animals. So therefore, tracking an animal is the same way you track a human. You look for scat, you look for disturbances in the ground, the leaf litter, footprint in the mud. You look for certain things, like fibers sticking to a tree,
Mm-hmm.
little the thread hanging off thorns from catching people's clothes. You know, doing open searches, you're usually using grid searches, like 10, 12 people hand in hand, and then they walk in a straight line and they basically comb the area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what I did. We went out and we helped find missing people, and and
This
when I
isn't,
heard about this case,
yeah, this
you
isn't
know,
new to him.
it wasn't, it was like a walk in the park, because this area is a lot more closed in than the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
You got way more area out in the Rocky Mountains than you do here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that little trail's like a little, I guess you would call it like a little bird watching hike, like a 4-mile bird watching hike.
Mm-hmm.
Out in the Rocky Mountains, you got over 180-mile trails.
Jeez.
That snake up over mountains through the forest. So it's a lot harder to search.
Mm-hmm.
When we do search, we search the most obvious spots first.
Mm-hmm.
Tunnels, bridges, log jams, streams where they're shallow, stuff like that. So,
I was reading chat there. Our wonderful friend Wheelby said hikers lost in a trail for 5 days, found in Alaska a week ago, 2 miles from where their car was parked. Wow.
See, that's what I'm talking about. People don't see, us natives, we use the sun for direction.
Okay.
Because the sun always rises in the east, sets in the west.
Okay.
So as long as you can establish that, you can establish where north and south is.
That's brilliant. See, I go and I'm looking at things and listening for things, but I'm not attuned the way that you are. So this is, I'm
that's
scared right now. I'm looking at everything.
Well, I mean, my advice to people is take a compass with you if you're not familiar with how to navigate by the sun.
That's a great idea.
Because as long as you're going north, you will always run into something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You go east-west, it might be 200-300 miles before you find something. But if you go north and south, usually you'll run into a road or a housing development or, something like that. I mean, it's very easy to get lost in an unfamiliar area. And what I'm about this trail is really not a big area. Somebody could learn this trail inside of a week. If they really were down there that much and studying that trail, they could find every little loophole in and out of there. You know what I mean?
I do.
And basically, all you really got to do is follow where the deer go. There's plenty of deer trail through there.
Mm-hmm.
So you could follow that deer trail, and that deer trail could lead you deep into the forest where you could hide. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's so many possibilities with this. I think, honestly, they should keep the construction sites and the migrant working fields right now under surveillance to see if they could actually spot this guy. What I want to know is, where is the composite sketch? If this was a home invasion in California, why don't we have a composite sketch from the young girl that was assaulted?
We've all been asking the same question.
I mean, it seems fishy to me. Everything sounds like it's out of order in this case. Like everything's going backward.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Well,
we're playing catch up. We're not, there's no, I mean, and we do this after every horrific crime, unfortunately, but you're playing catch up and there's nothing to go on other than what was left. And that's not pretty and not good. And we're doing, law enforcement's doing the best that they can with what they have. But when you don't have anything, I mean, think about this. This guy has done things to cover his tracks too.
Right.
You know, this, we don't know what his past is other than the assault and home invasion. We don't know anything else about
Yeah,
him.
we don't
He hasn't
even
been
have
caught.
any details on the home invasion. The home invasion looks like a casual somebody coming over to somebody else's house,
I
you know,
know.
and then they out the door kissing her on the forehead, giving her fist pump and walking away. It does not look like a home invasion to me. I think it looks like a little girl that got caught with an older man in the house, and her parents told her to get him out of the house, and the parents are the ones that made the big stink about it.
Mm-hmm. I
I
agree.
honestly believe that.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with you. We do know more information about the area, the people, the crime that was committed there. And we are running down the area. Oh, um, it, I won't give away too much. We have a team. We have a great team of people that we're working with. Some other creators who, behind the scenes, in the middle of the night, we're texting each other. And some people make me get out of bed in the middle of the night to go look at my computer so that I can because I can't just look on my phone and go, oh God, you're right, hold on, I gotta look this up, I gotta fire up the computer and I gotta sit here and look at things. So it's not just a cipher, it's criminality, it's Mallory, it's, I know Alex Erickson's working on it. It's just, there's so many other people that are looking into Rachel's case. I also wanted to tell you that now I will not go because I think that's for family, in my opinion, but her celebration of life is Sunday. I won't, I think that's family time. For me, I think that's family time. And I don't think that the general, I mean, they did invite everyone. But for me personally, I think that it's
celebration of life should be held sacred for the family. It should not include the general public.
I think, yeah.
I mean, the family's been through enough.
Mm-hmm.
The children, most of all, I cannot imagine what her children are going through right now. I really cannot. My heart goes out to them children.
Oh my God, me too. Me too. 5 kids between the ages of 8 and 18. They, by the way, her family, let me just explain a little background in the last month, what's happened with this family.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost a child to SIDS.
Yeah.
Sister has lost her dog.
Yeah.
They've lost Rachel.
Yeah.
Who knows what they haven't told us, the family, and other losses that they're dealing with and other things that, they're trying to pick up the pieces of all of their lives.
Right.
I can imagine. I do know what it's like to lose a sibling. My sister-in-law passed, so I do know what all of that is like. She passed when she was 27. So I do know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
But
I lost my mother when I was 11 years old. I know exactly what it's like.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Losing a mother is completely different. Oof.
So I can relate to how these children are feeling.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
That's what basically is driving my heel to follow this through. Raising awareness, more vigils, more marches to bring the community together, for Rachel. She deserves that. Nobody deserves what she got.
No. And that's the other thing. Rachel doesn't deserve it, but what people don't understand then is someone described it to me, loss is like throwing a pebble in a pond, and you have your initial ring, which is just, disturbing the pond, right? But then you have like the ripple effect of all the things that go on around it. So her family is terribly affected, but then your family is affected, the community is affected, officers that have worked on all of us who, I mean, I'm a nobody, I'm not generally affected, but are dealing with this as well. I'm not affected low on the totem pole, but I'm trying to, let everybody know that just because I'm in the community, that ripple effect leaves a lifetime scar.
Right. We were on the same wavelength with that one.
You
It
betcha.
causes a rift in the family, and it causes a dark stain on that family, and that scar does never go away.
No.
In fact, for some people, it gets worse every year.
Oh.
Even though it's been long ago, it still hurts them deeply, and it still scars them so deep that they never recover from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, her children need counseling. Her children need support right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think bringing the community together and doing vigils and marches for the rest of the summer is the least we could do.
I love
Just
that.
get everybody together, and celebrating Rachel and what she meant to our community
Mm-hmm.
and what she meant to her children and her own family,
And how she's bringing our community back together.
Right, right. Now she's got everybody in town talking to each other because we're all trying to figure out what happened.
You betcha. You betcha.
And it's going to make us a stronger community. It's going to put our community together. It's going to bring everybody back together. I believe
it's a small little. I agree with you, and it's a small little town. And just because this guy did this terrible thing to one, like I said, I just want the monster back in the cage. I want the monster back in the cage, so things can go back to the way that they were.
Yes, nice and peaceful, sleepy little town like we used to be. No high crime.
Right.
We don't have shootings every week. We don't have stabbings every week. Where I live at, I used to be able to leave my door unlocked before this, but now I'm not so sure.
I completely understand. I feel the same way.
Before I left my door open, not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And my door's always open, for anybody that needs help. That's the way I feel. My community is my heart, and I will continue to serve my community no matter what nobody says. I mean, because this community, I grew up in this community. This community is who I am, where I'm from.
Right. Yes, we all pray that he will be apprehended soon. T and Mallory, I sent you guys the link if you want to come up and ask Johnny Blackhawk any questions. I did, and Teresa from her chat. You've been in her chat.
Yeah. Criminality, yeah. I get on her show every night now in her chat rooms.
She's amazing. She's amazing, and I have to, like, all due respect. You were in there, and I messaged you in there, and I just want to make sure that I give her the respect that she deserves. She was talking to you first. You were talking to her first.
That was me following up on everything I could follow up on again. I mean, I'm watching all the crime shows that have to do with Rachel Morin, even though they're getting few and far between now. You hear more about Brian Koberger. They know he's guilty. They got him, in jail, but they can't convict him.
Criminality says, I don't own Johnny. No, you don't. But also, I wanted to be respectful. She just sent me a message saying she can't come up at the moment. It's not a good time for her. But if Mallory wants to come up and say hello, we welcome her up as well. She has the link. I'm not sure where LFT ran to. I think she's having some internet issues and didn't want to interrupt, bless her little soul. But is there anything else we can, other than counseling? And we talked about that. That's a personal thing. Oh, good. Mallory's going to come up and she's going to ask you a question or two. Okay. Mallory's lovely as well. Is there anything else you want to go over, cover, straighten out? And also know that we have an open door policy. This will never be the first time. This is your first time here, but it's not your last damn time here. This is your home now. and he's gone. I scared him off. I totally just scared him off.
It was
I'm
me,
out.
not you. I scared him.
You scared him off. What the hell, Mal?
I keep getting freaking phone calls. I've gotten 3 I haven't talked to anyone all day today. I get 3 phone calls as soon as you go live.
Are you serious? Is it anybody in the community? Can I yell at them? Oh, there he is. Hold on.
No, it's my
Uh,
it's my dad and my stepmom and my mom and my sisters.
Oh, goodness gracious. This is not the time. This is very important. Okay, crime news. Thank you with Teresa. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. Johnny Blackhawk, this is Mallory. Mallory runs a channel as well. She is amazing and also has her degree in criminal. Well, I'll let you. I don't want to.
I have my master's in forensic psychology. So
Okay.
I have my
right.
bachelor's in criminal justice. So you were almost right.
There you go.
But
So
we've
she's
talked a little bit here and there. I think you commented on my video from yesterday about Madalena.
yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I know I've said previously to him that you know how to get a hold of me, Tia. So if he needs anything from me, Tia, you know that if you need anything from me for him, then I'm here to help. And I'm very thankful that you are talking with Tia and have the ability to share your side of things, because I know from the very beginning, and I'm going to be completely honest, you gave me a bad taste in my mouth when I did first see you on the news. So now that I have the ability to actually hear your side of things, it's like, it's just another one of those things where it's like, holy shit, you can't trust anyone, like the news, you can't trust any of it. And I admire everything that you've done, everything that you've said, and I'm behind you 100% on anything that you need help with, anything that you do. My channel is open to you. I'm open to helping Tia. I'm open to helping you. So whatever you need.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And,
media does suck, and the media totally twisted his words and his things to mean and say something very different. So anytime you see something that the mainstream media has done, throw it out. It's not real. It's not true.
it's a movie set.
Yeah.
They make money off of these stories. Let's be frank about it. It sells ratings. The ratings sell ads. They make money off the ad, and they don't care about the story. You know what I mean? It's just some way for them to make money. It's a business. These shows that are on YouTube, like most of them, they're just out there for clout and fame is all they are. They're not out there just to get to the bottom of the story and help that community, which is where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people saw me as a drug user. Yes, I used to be a drug user. But you know what? I straightened myself out. And this is my way of giving back to my community and making things right. The rights that I've wronged when I was younger, I just want to go back and make everything right. You know what I mean?
I think that's amazing. Not everybody feels that way. Not everybody has the opportunity to give back. And my gracious, my God. Shay Benet.
Wow. Holy cow.
Well, Johnny, I guess that's going to be part of the counseling right there, my friends.
Yeah.
We're going to give that to you, and we are going to that can be counseling session number 1. Oh, I got choked up.
Yeah.
Shay, thank you very, very, very much.
My whole upper body numb seeing that. Just the support and the heart people are putting into helping me and my family. I said that if I did locate and get this guy convicted, that reward money is going back to the family of Rachel Morin. I will not keep a penny of it.
100% agree with you. 100%
agree
with you.
It will go for her children because they need it more than I do.
God, Shay, thank you. You just given me goosebumps. And really, Shay is a wonderful supporter, but I'm so excited that I can get in touch with this guy and we can get things on the right track, if you will.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do now, you know, and I feel like we're on the right track, so to speak.
I do too. I do too. And I'm, oh God, what a blessing is, right?
Healing, right? You know, we need to heal the community. We need to heal ourselves from this. But we won't. This guy is caught. We cannot relax. We have to stay on our toes and vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings. If you're going to run that trail with earbuds in your ears, put one earbud in and have one ear to the ground. That way you know what's going on around you. You know, travel in groups. Safety in numbers. You know, if the patrols come through, let's say, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, you know, at least you'll be in a group.
Right.
You know, start a community page for people that walk the group. I mean, walk the trail, you know, and say, hey, I'm getting ready to go down the trail. Anybody want to join me? Safety in numbers. You know, start a community page about the Mom Pa Trail. You know, make it safer for people to go down there. When women go down there by themselves, take a dog. If you have a dog, take your dog because your dog is going to alert way before you. Your dog will sense danger. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really worried about the streets. I'm worried about that trail because that trail is, I don't want to say treacherous and scare everybody.
Isolated.
But isolated is a good word.
That's a great word for it. Yeah.
Isolated 100 escape routes.
Yep. Well, and you bringing up the headphones thing actually reminded me because lately, just within the last few years, especially for like the younger generation, the over the ear headphones are becoming back into style.
Yep.
And those are not the types of headphones that you can potentially take one ear out because they just sit over your ears. So that's another thing that I just want to mention too, kind of going off of what you said is, you know, make sure that you're bringing headphones that you can utilize that you can take one ear out and not
and not have headphones that are like muffs over your ears.
Yep.
Like canceling headphones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if you see a lot of the TikToker people stuff nowadays that are doing the hot girl walks.
Oh yeah.
It's always with the big Apple the big Apple headphones. And they're the big over the ear ones. And it's like, that's not safe.
But you know what I don't understand? A lot of people in these chat rooms keep talking about how Rachel was on this dating site, that dating site. What does that matter? What does that really matter? What is that solving by talking about that kind of stuff? You know, this guy's on the loose. Stop focusing on Rachel's life and start focusing on how we can catch this guy. You know, all of us coming to a community, all of us coming together as a community is going to catch this guy. You know what I mean? If we keep staying apart from each other, we'll never get anywhere with this. You know what I mean? So I honestly believe that this community needs to come together and they need to do more. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get on people, but I mean, that's the way it needs to be. I mean, because I see, like the sheriff says, I see him striking again if he is still in the area, because now he's got a taste for it. It's like a shark. Shark taste for human blood. It wants to dine on human blood all the time, but most of the time, shark will just came up, take a warning bite, and go away because human is not normally on the menu. Okay. So more times than a little bit, it's an accident that people get bit by sharks. But there are some of them that once they attack a human, it's like an addiction for that human blood. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see this guy. That's the way I see this guy. He got away with it so easily before, and he's still undetected. You know what I mean? And, you know, he sees an area that's open, open hunting ground. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that if he's still in the area, he's watching that area.
Wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
would too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, if you go into that area, you'll know, you know, where you can stand, where you can't stand, where people, you know, and this is not really the first incident that we've had on this trail. You know, there's a couple incidents where people have gotten beat up. There's a couple instances where, you know, drunks have gotten into fights with each other. You know, I mean, this trail is a haven for criminal activity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's so isolated, like me and Tia said, it is just too isolated. I mean, how about lights going down the trail for when it starts to get dark?
That would be
You know?
awesome, but then they're going to say, well, it closes at dusk. Okay, great. Well, then what closes at dusk? What are you preventing people from doing at dusk?
Well,
There's
wait a
nothing.
minute. Why isn't there a gate at the trailhead?
That's
If
what I
it closes at dusk, they should put a gate on it and lock it. That way, if anybody goes through there, they're trespassing, then they can lock them up at that point.
Or at least
I
give
agree.
fines or something, because people are not going to end up paying a fine if they know they're enforcing it.
That's right.
Right. That's right.
I agree.
You know?
So let me go back here and thank a couple people really quick. Pointer Lover, thank you so much for your donation. That will be going to Johnny and his family as well. LFT, giving away stuff for her birthday. She's donated tonight as well. Thank you so much. I want to address this one comment in the chat, which I was going to ignore, but you know, your girl can't ignore things. So you got me. It says the donation would go to Johnny and his family for counseling or put towards community. Yes. So Squeaky, if you don't like what we're doing here, kindly exit, or I will have our lovely moderators swing a wrench and just help you out. You don't have to be here and you don't have to comment. Mr. Blackhawk is doing this out of his time, his love for his community, and we're here to support him. We're here to make sure that his family gets the counseling that they need, and whatever we can do to assist as far as other community efforts, we're going to be advertising on our channel. If people don't like that, don't come around. That's cool. But if you do like it, I want you to thank Mr. Blackhawk for being here tonight and for being kind enough to share his time, his efforts, and daily going off the trail, on and off the trail, and searching. You know, I mean, he's doing this out of the love for his community, the love for what he does. It's his heart that he's putting out there, his time, his energy.
Don't even go into me. They're going to my daughter for her counseling. I'm not taking a dime from that, you know, because I'm not the one that walked up on her. You know what I mean? I don't need counseling. It's my daughter and her friend. You know, one thing I'd like to do to Squeaky Wheel, you know, they're only words. If she don't like what is said in this chat, she can go to another chat and agree with other people that disagree. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
People are going to have their judgments, and they shouldn't judge a book by its cover. I mean, you could actually read a book, look at the cover, not like the cover, but then read the book, and the book is amazing. You know what I mean? So people need to stop looking at exterior looks and start looking in people's hearts.
Listen, it's pretty hysterical, and I will tell you this because Mallory was in on the joke as well. When I said I would meet you in the woods, it does sound a little crazy. You're going to meet some guy from the internet.
Yeah, go ahead, go meet him in the woods.
Right? Everybody's like, oh yeah, that's brilliant. Go meet a stranger from the internet in the woods where murders happen. That sounds great. I couldn't be more honored and grateful that I did. I really could not be. So, and in our discussion when we were talking, Johnny Blackhawk said to me, you know, people judge me all the time by the way I look, you know, and I have a history, but that's not who I am. That's part of who I am, and that's why I'm here, but that's not who I am now. And
Right.
he explained to me very clearly that this is his passion. This is the way he gives back, clean and sober.
12
And
years.
Whoop, whoop.
yes,
12 years.
I'm very grateful to you, your time, all the effort you're putting in, the conversations that we've had, publicly and privately, have been amazing.
I hope you see more, Tia. I really do.
Me
You
too.
know, because I enjoy your company. I really do. You and Mallory and Criminality. You guys are some amazing people.
Well,
You know,
it's the one good thing about this, and I'm going to thank Rachel out loud for this one, is the ability to bring us as friends together, because I don't necessarily know if that would have happened.
it might not have, but you never know. Our paths may have crossed at some point in the day. I mean, you know, I hardly go there, but sometimes I'll go down there just for a reflection period.
Right.
I haven't been down there in 20 years until this happened. But
And
once
now
I
you're
went
down there
back,
every day.
and now I went back down there. Now it's all coming back to me. All the little trails. That's why I'm going down there, because now I'm starting to remember everything.
Yeah.
You know, back when it was a railroad bed 22 years ago, you know, tracks were still laying back there.
Yeah.
We used to ride our dirt bikes and stuff back there as children. We used to go back there as children and party.
Right.
You know, because it was right next to the mall. The police never searched that trail. They never knew we were back there. You know, and it's the same way today. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that comment.
I know. Delane is the best.
Yeah,
So
she
much
really is.
time with it. Yeah, Delane is good people. Everybody's been good, man. I mean, you have your handful. You know, it's going to be like that in every apple bushel. You're always going to have one rotten apple. You know what I mean? But one rotten apple don't ruin the whole bushel, right?
Hell no.
So I mean, they're only words. I mean, people are going to say what people are going to say. They're going to have their own opinions. But everybody has an opinion about somebody, you know. So I just don't let it bother me. I just keep walking, you know, just keep walking down that red road and keep moving forward.
I love that. You're teaching me stuff every day. I'm trying to not respond to silliness, and I'll get better. It's just I get defensive when people, you know, when something's on your heart and you're passionate about something, and someone says something, it's like the in me comes out.
Yep.
Right.
Don't fuck around and find out, because you will find out.
Yeah.
It's actually a native saying, fuck around and find out. We say that all the time on the reservation.
Do you really? That's awesome. Those are people I do not want to fuck around and find out, by the way. No, thank you.
No.
Because they know, I mean, physically, but emotionally and spiritually, they will fuck your whole world up. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, you don't want no part of that juju, trust me. You got medicine, and it'll wreck your life if you're going off on the wrong road. Believe me. They will pick you apart and pick you apart. But you know what? In the Native community, if we don't pick on you, it means we don't love you.
Is that right?
But if we pick on you, it means we love you.
Aww.
You know what I mean? But like I was saying, the Native communities aren't like normal society. If you're hungry, we feed you. Stay, we give you a place to stay. You know, if you need somebody to talk to, you can always go talk to an elder. You know what I mean? It's not like normal society. We're like a tight-knit community like Bel Air is. And that makes me feel so tied to Bel Air that everybody knows everybody. And everybody's willing to help everybody. You know what I mean? They're willing to all come together and rally around one of their own. You know what I mean? That's what makes us different from all the other areas in Maryland. You know, we're like a tight-knit community around here.
Agreed.
Actually, we watch each other's backs. You know, if
Agreed.
somebody's driving down the road with a cup on top of their roof, we stop them. Hey, man, you got a cup on your roof. Or you got a flat tire, bro. You need to stop and put air in it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in Baltimore, they'll follow you down the road just to watch your tire blow out.
Oh, yep.
See, and that's crazy because that actually happens here. I'm in Minnesota, and if you know anything about Minnesota, we're known for Minnesota nice. So it's very much like we in the state here are known for being even a little too nice. Like, I will stand and hold a door open for 40 people before I go in myself, because that's just how it is around here. And, you know, helping people, and we'll always pull over. And like, I was on a longer drive, and a tree had fallen in the road, and there was literally 5 of us that stopped. Someone had a chainsaw. We cut it up and pulled it out of the road, all within like 20 minutes. And
we do that here too.
Yeah. So it's so nice to know that it's everywhere, not just here. You know what I mean?
My grand governing council for the American Indian movement is in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Ooh, I'm not too far from there.
That's really cool.
Yep, right in Minneapolis, Minnesota is my grand governing council for my American Indian movement, which is another civil rights activist group. I know Minneapolis is a big Chippewa native community out in Minnesota. I got a couple relatives. And when I talk relatives, I mean the whole native community. They're like your aunts, your uncles, your grandmothers, your grandfathers. Even though you're not blood related, you still call these people by their respected labels. You know, like if they're older than you, that's your uncle, that's your aunt. You know, if they're elderly, that's their mother and grandfather. If they're around the same age as you, call them your brother. You know, that's the way we are. You know, and that's the way it'll always be. You know, because it's not going to help our people. So we as people have to hold together, have to hold our numbers high, because they're trying to exterminate us and trying to dumb us down and not let us progress. I mean, back in history, you look at the Indian Relocation Act, then you look at the Urban Indian Relocation Act, where they moved all the natives into the city, you know.
God, that would be horrible.
You know, and then
I'm just trying to process that in my head, like that's.
And then you have all the residential schools where the children were kidnapped from their families, taken to these schools, having their hair cut off, all their tribal regalia taken from them, their language taken from them, and assimilated into white culture. You know what I mean? Which was not correct. We'll just say it was not correct. You know,
I agree.
You can't blame their ancestors for what's going on today. We all got to progress as one nation, many tribes. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
all 7 colors of the rainbow need to come together under one sun to be a blessing for a sick and suffering world. In the words of Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse said that back in I think it was the 1800s. He said, and as long as we don't come together, this world will continue to be sick and it will suffer. But he said, once all 7 colors of mankind come together under one sun, it will be a blessing for a sick and suffering world.
That's beautiful.
You know, and it shows that back in the 1800s, we were all trying to unite, because United States is a big melting pot of all these different cultures. We could learn a lot from each other if we only got along. We could learn so much more. You know, life is a learning experience. You know, it's something supposed to be held sacred. But I don't see people nowadays holding life sacred with all these school shootings and, you know, all this violence that's going on around the planet. I don't understand it. You know, and these attacks on these national parks and trails, they're only getting more and more and more and more by the day. You know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
kind of a big web of violence. There's not enough positivity in the world.
I agree. I agree with you. And I'm so glad that you're here to remind us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're family. We all need to get along, you know.
Sorry, I'm just messaging someone really quick. Um, is there anything, Mal, that you have that you'd like to talk to Mr. Blackhawk about? Or shall we schedule another time with him when we know more?
Yeah,
Um,
I had more of like questions for once you guys have the ability to go back there.
Mhm.
And just different things like that. So nothing off the top of my head right at this very second.
Okay.
Because you
I
actually
mean,
answered quite a bit.
we need more podcasts like this if you want. I mean, as we
Hell
progress
yeah.
through this,
Hell
you
yeah.
know, as we progress through this, we can do more podcasts and, you know, get more input with the community.
I agree.
Well,
We can
and I think
we
too,
can even
once
go
we can
live from the
finally,
trail and do one from there
yeah,
and kind of talk about things from that.
We could. That would be a good idea to give people a better perspective of
Okay.
what
yeah,
we're looking at. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Instead of talking about it, to have a visual to show people. This is what we mean by this. How this is how this trail is set up, and
Mhm.
how the trail has so many different little hiding spots in it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that's what we need to do. We need to have we need to start a YouTube channel about the community meetings. If not, have meetings on the trail. Have community come together on the trailhead. There's
Mhm.
a big parking lot to suit everybody.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And have
yeah.
people bring ideas instead of speculation. Bring your ideas. Where do you think this guy could be? Where can I go look?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? What can I do to help my community? You know what I mean?
It's the most important question, I think. And what can we do to heal our community? And I think
Right.
you're working on both. I really think you're working on both. And I'm so grateful. I'm
I'm
so incredibly grateful.
I'm trying to, I'm trying to put my community's mind at ease, by bringing this guy to justice. I want everybody to be able to sleep at night again
Mhm.
instead of having to wake up in the middle of the night and look at a computer because there's another report of another young lady being attacked. Enough is enough.
There
Our
was one
young
just
women,
recently.
right? What was there, Mallory? How long ago was the last one? That was what, the 20th of August. That was Esparza in that California park, or was
There was
there
one
another
just
one?
just either yesterday or today in one of the Carolinas, I want to say, and the girl was able to get away. He tried to kidnap her, and she got away.
I did hear about that.
Yeah,
That
and
guy
it was
was
just
tall. He's a white male. Um, but see, they said it had something to do with our case, and I really didn't believe it because they say it's a Hispanic male here, but it was a white male down in the Carolinas.
Mhm.
yeah, and I mean, I think at this point, a lot of people are overly cautious, which is good. It's a very good thing to be overly cautious, especially when you're in an area where, even if you're not in an area where something has occurred, it's still better to be overly cautious than not cautious enough because your life depends on it. And so knowing that it happened near you guys and then having the Carolinas not be across the country in this time frame, I mean, it makes sense that people would try to jump to that conclusion, but the scary thing is the likelihood that it's just someone else who is utilizing a trail to attack someone is very high. And
Yeah,
so it's like trails, because they're isolated, because of the different crevices and different places, it's very easy to be taken advantage of even if you are prepared. So you just have to literally take every single precaution that you can when going on trails.
Mhm.
I just can't get over it enough.
look
I
where they found that woman, Alicia Watts. They
Yeah.
found her a month later, right outside of a cemetery in the forest.
Mm.
I mean, that's crazy. And the police already had that guy almost in custody when they found him unconscious at the DMV. I mean, but they didn't have much to go on because she wasn't missing at that point. But, you know, I don't know if she was missing at that point, but, you know, I mean, there was I don't know, that was kind of a fishy case too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now her family's got closure. They know who did it. They got the man in custody so they can relax. But our community cannot relax because this guy's still on the loose. You know
And
what I
God
mean?
knows other communities could be in serious danger too. That's
Well,
the problem.
Right.
yeah.
We all need to raise awareness and you know, bring this to the light so the whole country knows this guy's on the loose.
Yep.
I mean, if anything, this could be an up and coming serial killer. The brutality that he showed Rachel, you know, this guy could be starting out. This guy could be ramping up right now. You know,
Well,
and
and
you
we already
never
know
know.
that. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, he could still be in this area though, and I mean that trail would be the perfect hunting grounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not secure. It's not secure at all.
Well, and although there's a lot of questions regarding the situation in LA, there's still a crime that he committed in LA. So even though I know LFT had asked a question in chat regarding escalation, but there, what's the escalation past what happened to Rachel? There isn't much farther than you can go with that. So that's going to be where it ends up. And the scariest part about this too is that not only is there this guy that's out there, but there's 100 more just like him that now that they see him getting away with it are going to try something like this. And that's why it is so important. Like,
Hundreds to
yeah,
1,000,
yeah,
really quick.
exactly. And it's
You know,
terrifying.
Yeah.
it's gonna spread like wildfire, and people are gonna start buying guns left and right, and people are gonna be getting shot for the wrong reasons.
True
You know
story.
what I mean?
True story.
You know, I think that they should offer some kind of less lethal, like a rubber bullet that would disable a person instead of killing them and taking another life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you could use bean bags, you could use bear spray. You know what I mean? Even a walking stick. When you're walking on a trail, take a big walking stick with you.
That's
That
a
way,
great
at least something. You know what I mean? To protect yourself. You know, stab him right in the sternum with it. It'll knock the wind out of him so hard that he won't want to get up. You know what I mean? Smack him right in the breadbasket with it and put force behind it. You know,
Yeah.
that'll at least disable him long enough where you can get away. You know? And I honestly believe that the women in that community need self-defense classes to help them heal and to help them better protect themselves.
I
Because then
agree.
now you're giving them confidence and you're giving them a way to defend themselves. You know what I mean? As of right now, the women that don't know how to defend themselves are hiding in their houses because this guy's still on the loose. No identity, just have a match with CODIS DNA, which isn't really anything. They need to do a family tree on this guy. Then they'll be able to figure out what family he actually came from. You know, opposite sketch. That's why I don't think that home invasion in LA is really a home invasion. Because LA would have already given Harford County Sheriff a composite sketch of this guy from that woman that was assaulted. I'm wondering why there's no composite sketch. In every other murder case, they got the composite sketch right after the woman's found.
I know. I do think it's really totally bizarre, this whole thing. Oh, I got to put this one back up. Self-defense. This is what I was waiting for. Delana just read my mind. I hope that you've been reading chat and seeing some of the kind and respectful comments we've been receiving about you. People are really grateful for you being here. They're really grateful. They're really grateful for your information and the things that you're doing for the community. Because once again, while we talked about, throwing the rock in the water, it does spread. So your message is spreading to all kinds of different people, not just locally, which is great.
I
So,
hope this is all the way across the country and people are better able to defend themselves. You know,
mhm,
and so we watched Tia's show, and now we know how to do it by getting defense classes, bringing the communities together, making community watches, securing a, I was even thinking about starting a Facebook page called COPS, KOPS, Keep Our Parks Safe, which
Oh,
would
that's
be
good.
why isn't that out there? You need to do that. That's amazing.
like,
Mm-hmm.
community watch at certain parks, have women take pictures of suspicious characters. That way they'll have their pictures. You know what I mean? If your trail doesn't have a camera, carry your phone with you. You see something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. That's what the police are here for, to protect and to serve. We need to remember this.
This is true.
Okay? There is no false allegations. If you feel unsafe or you feel in danger and you take a picture and call the police, that is legitimate. That is not a false report. That is you feeling unsafe in a world full of uncertainty, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
I mean, people really need to realize that this is not a joke in America anymore. It's a fight for survival. It's not all about the races or religions anymore. Everybody's fighting for survival in this country, you know? And I think the more that people come together, the more this whole country is going to come together.
I
They're going
agree.
to forget about all those racial scars from the past, and they're all just going to say, you know what? Let's all build community gardens. Let's feed the homeless. You
I
know,
love those.
let's
Yeah.
help our vets out. Let's do things that we never did before. Let's help our veterans out for protecting our freedoms and our liberties. How
And maybe
about that?
that's something we can learn from the Native Americans. We can
Mm-hmm.
learn their, community ways and how they protect those around them.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
we usually do nightly patrols. Like, we take shifts on the reservation. We carry a rifle and we actually walk the fence lines of the res.
mhm.
That's really not effective because there's really no lights out there or anything.
Right, right.
Look at that one. Keep our parks safe. I
Isn't that
think
awesome?
that would be a good program to start on Facebook.
I love
You
it.
know, taking pictures. It's not illegal to take a picture of somebody. If you feel unsafe or you feel uncertain about a person, take a picture and post it. You
Mhm.
know, or if you have any questions about how to keep your park safer, get a hold of that Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know?
love that. That's such a great idea. We're going to talk about that afterwards because
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
and
that's such a great idea.
that actually brought to my mind too, the Delphi case
Mm.
Yeah,
and how Libby had taken a picture of the person she was uncomfortable with on the trail, and that was utilized in arresting their killer. And so what you just said really resonated, I think, with me too, is that you taking a picture and sending it to someone you care about and just being like, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable and I just want you to know why I'm uncomfortable," because that can make a huge difference even if nothing happens to you. But what if that person does something to someone else and you're like, "Well, actually I was there during this time and this person made
I
me
have a
uncomfortable, but I have
picture
a
of that.
picture." Yep.
Right? Like,
Mhm.
I think about a month and a half before, they had a report of a Latino male actually exposing himself to walkers on that trail,
On the trail.
Mhm.
right? But nobody's got a picture of him.
Yep.
Nope. Nope.
See what I'm saying about that? I mean, they could have taken a picture of that guy and literally probably had this guy's face.
Mm-hmm. It's very
You
true.
know, I feel like it might be one and the same. So if he's been around there for a month, he knows that area.
Mm-hmm. We
You
don't know
know,
how long he's
Mhm.
been around. I mean, like I said, he could. Um.
well, that one happened in March, so I figure maybe he's been here since like May or June.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's a lot of construction going on at the hospital right now. I don't know if you know about that, Upper Chesapeake Hospital.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of house building up here too. which Latino people are famous for: drywall, framing, stuff like that, because it's a job that they can do, that they don't have to understand English, where they could just read their tape and do their job in Spanish.
Mhm.
You know, it's a universal job for all people of culture. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter what call. You don't have to talk to each other. Just know what you're doing. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's possible. You know, it's possible that he's traveling around the United States with a construction company. You know, and
Mhm.
most of the guys that work for these construction companies, because I did iron work for 30 years, so I know most of them get paid under the table because nobody likes paying taxes because they don't make that much. You know, I
Right.
mean, you see that all the time with construction companies. So that's another way of staying under the radar. If you don't have a bank account, you don't have none of that stuff, you can't be linked. The only thing that can link you is actually your cell phone and that geofencing program that they have where they can ping your cell phone. Why haven't they done that yet? They
Mm-hmm.
he has a cell phone and they know it.
That's
Why
a
have
big area, though. So I'm really hoping that that pans out. I'm really hoping that that pans out.
that?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a crucial part of the case. That
Mhm.
would be a crucial part of the case. Because
Mm-hmm.
then we'll be able to see where he went from the time he left Rachel, and we'd be able to track him all the way across the country through the use of our satellites and cell towers.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Whose
And
cell
that's
phone was
another,
pinging in LA during that time and was also pinging in Bel Air during that time? Because if
Mhm.
there's a potential of a cell phone that was pinging in each specific location, because in the video we potentially do see his cell phone lit up in his pocket, is
Yep.
what
yeah,
people are saying that is. So is there a way that they'd be able to throw like a net out there to see a potential for someone who was actually able to be pinged in both places?
right. No, there is. I mean, they could, if your phone is on, okay, your phone sends out a certain signal to the cell towers that are in the area so you get service. So therefore, you have to connect with these towers to be able to even make a phone call. You know, when your phone's on, it's running with the internet. You got 5G now. So
Mhm.
you're attached to that internet. You cannot run from the interwebs. There's there's no way. I mean, they could take a computer and have somebody hack into a system and they can pinpoint that computer right back to the internet address where it comes from.
Yep.
So what makes a cell phone any different? You know, they could spin that web where they could do the geofence from LA to Bel Air. You know what I mean? And then after that, you know, follow that certain phone around the country if need be.
Mhm. I mean, that's my hope. Leanne asks, "Is the park fully covered with cell service?" Not really.
It's almost like a dead zone when you get into the bottom of that valley.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And anybody who watched our video last week will know that I was
What
spinning,
about
I
where
was
she was
talking.
found?
Well,
Huh?
that's why my stepdaughter couldn't get a hold of me on the cell phone when we were down there searching that day because I'd never heard the phone call.
Oh.
Oh. So down where she
Because
was found though, that doesn't have a ton of coverage.
No.
no,
Okay.
no,
That's
no,
like
no,
in
no.
the
That's the dead
center.
zone.
It's lower. It's
Yeah. In
Anywhere from where those tunnels are all the way out to Best Buy is like
Mhm.
a dead zone.
Yeah.
Until you come out on Tollgate Road where they got that one cell tower on Tollgate Road.
Yep.
And your
Mhm.
service
In
back
that
in.
specific area, when you go down about a half a mile where she was, it's I mean, it's just woods. There's nothing there. You're like dead center of nothing.
Right.
Um,
Pretty much in deer country back there.
it is. It really is. And if you saw one of the videos we did, like when you start the trail, you're kind of gradually going downhill. Um,
Oh,
and you kind of, you turn around, where this
yeah.
picture
Where
is.
that area is, then you start going back uphill.
You do. You do.
That's like where she was like the dead bottom of the trail.
Yep. It's like a valley area, if you will. There's a stream there.
Heavenly waters.
Heavenly waters, which is ironic.
I know. Every time I go down there, I think about the name of that creek.
So do
I'm
I.
like, wow.
I know.
Wow.
Mm.
You know, I mean, that whole trail now is like an eerie, like horror film scene. You know, you feel like any minute Freddy Krueger is going to come out of the woods on you or something. You know what I mean?
It's
just the
just
energy
not the
down
same
there.
as it was. It was such a nice, fun. Like I said, I would go to get right there. You know, like you go, you look around, and you know, some people run. I do not.
I don't run either. I like going slow and watching my nature go by instead of everything going by like a blur.
Well,
You
you
know,
also reminded me about cell phones, and that was awesome. You know, turn off your damn cell phone every once in a while. Not in the woods, not when you're there, but like when you get right, you got to turn off your cell phone and
you got to disconnect from the matrix. You got to think for yourself.
Mhm.
You know, the matrix is going to rot your brain.
Mhm.
You know, but people need to stop, turn them cell phones off, and go sit down by a creek and just listen to the water trickle. You know,
Oh,
that's what gets your mind right. Because water is what your body's made of. And
mhm.
those waves that are coming up, I mean, like the sound that's coming off that water is a very healing sound.
Yes, it is.
Trickling water is a very healing sound. Like where I live at, there's a creek running through my property. I got a chair sitting right in the middle of the creek because I like sitting there listening to the water. You know,
Nice.
that's how I go get right. You know what I mean? I sit
Mhm.
down there at the creek and listen to the water and listen to the frogs. I mean, it's beautiful. You know, God's country is beautiful.
Mhm.
You just got to take the time to appreciate it. Go out and smell the flowers. Watch the little squirrels frolic around the leaf litter. You know, listen to them.
Mhm.
Listen to the songbirds. I mean, it's a beautiful symphony out there. It's a beautiful world that Creator has created for us. And everybody now is just taking advantage of it and just walking along the earth and destroying it. You know, and it's up to people like us to bring that back into perspective. You know, we
Thank
all
you
need
for that
nature.
reminder.
We all need nature healing. Nature is very healing. You know, get
Mhm.
out there in a kayak in the middle of the river, man. You'll feel like a little flea on the back of the earth. You know, when you got the power of that water pushing you around, you'll know where you stand at in life. You know, you go out there and you go fishing, man. Not even to catch and eat, catch and release. You
Mhm.
know, see what's in the river. You know, see what kind of relatives. Like us Native Americans, everything on the earth is our relative. The four-leggeds, the wingeds, the bugs, the fish, the bees, everything. Everything is relative to us because we all have a common destiny to keep this earth protected and sacred. You know, each like we do as humans, each animal, each bird, each fish, everything has its own job to keep the earth on a positive note and a positive balance.
Mm.
And without those jobs and without those animals on the earth, that's how the earth gets thrown off balance. You know, because
Well,
you
as
don't have
someone who takes more from the earth than I give, I appreciate the reminder. You
right.
know,
You know?
as someone who thinks that, you know, my little world is, you know, when you get involved in your own head, and
Oh
you forget that your little world is just that you are part of a bigger thing. I always forget that. And you just reminded me when you said, you know, what you said about the going out on the canoe and you know, it really just whew, that one hit home for me. Because we all get caught up in little things, even on YouTube. You know, we get caught up on dumb little things on here, and it's like, oh my God, why am I even? This is so not what I'm meant to do. This
yeah.
is
Right.
not where my energy is meant to go.
There are a lot of crossed energies on social media, though. You know,
Mhm.
there's a lot of optimistic views and you have a lot of negative views.
Mhm.
So everybody's going to get on here and clash. You know what I mean? And it's up to us to put away our differences, stop the violence, and start loving each other, building community gardens, help feed each other, help nurture each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this country was meant to be, not all this violence and everything that we have around us, all this racial inequality.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares what color skin you are? Go out and look for this person, because this person is somebody's mother, somebody's daughter, somebody's brother, somebody's, they're human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and they deserve to have their story heard, and they deserve to be honored.
I agree. I want to thank everybody for their donations tonight. All donations that we receive will be going to Johnny Blackhawk for his family to do whatever it is. I mean, I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He's going to be getting some counseling for his daughter. His daughter was an integral part of the find for Rachel Morin, who sadly passed away on August 6th. Her life was taken. Her children were left without a mom, 5 kids. Her sisters and brothers were left without a sibling. Her mother was left without a daughter. All these things happened in our little community here. And his daughter was responsible for basically finding Rachel. Now,
thank you.
What I will say is that finding someone who's deceased is a horrible thing anyway. Finding someone who has been horribly unalived is something we just want to get her some help for the trauma that she's going through. Yes, God bless her is right. I want to thank our chat and our friends very much for all the support that you've given us, all the support that you've given Mr. Blackhawk here. This is amazing. He's going to be look at this. Look, Kay Brace just put up a feather. I love that. Looks almost like the feather you found.
Yeah.
I really want to thank you for coming on tonight, and please come back and hang out with us anytime, every time.
I don't hide nothing from nobody. I am the real deal.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna go hang out in the woods and see what we can figure out. I'm gonna go meet strangers in the woods.
With as your backup over the phone.
I know. Well, what can I tell you? I'm not. You know what? Lucky for me, this is who was sent. This is who was sent.
Right.
I couldn't get any luckier.
Right.
Please thank your daughter for her courage and strength. Please wrap your arms around her from all of us.
I will.
And that goes for you too. Love to you too. And thank you again for joining us. Like I said, you and I are going to be talking. We're talking later. We're talking tomorrow.
We're going to talk later. We're going to be talking a lot.
We are.
I mean, this is something we need to do for our community, Tia. This is something I feel strongly about, And in other words, me and you are actually, if you want to, we can actually be the ones that start that KOPS on Facebook. If you want
sure
to.
Can.
You can be part of that. You know what I mean?
I'd love to.
Part of that too. It's just trying to make the community safer.
I know. I really appreciate you. And again, go, our friends at Criminality, our friend Mallory over here.
Always. You guys are my circle now. Yeah. You guys are in my circle. You guys are family now.
I love that. And you're ours.
Yes,
in our
absolutely.
We have friends. We have family. Once our paths cross, we're family. Just the way it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. And again,
I'll you know where I'm at.
Yes, sir. You have a great night, and thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down.
Thanks everybody for the love and support, and thank you for all your donations for Cece. And we're gonna do everything we can to heal the community and my daughter and make things right. Thank you all for everything. The most heartfelt gratitude, everything. You guys have been a big help in helping me on my journey through this. So I love my community.
I don't think I want to say anything else. I think I want to end it on that note. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night and a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later on.
Yes, ma'am. I'll talk to you later on. You guys have a blessed evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.